Hey everyone, this is Daniel, and in today's video about Power Virtual Agents, we're going to talk about how you can take an existing classic bot and migrate them over into the new authoring canvas bot. So I'll first start by showing you where this feature is and what it looks like once you access it. After that, I'll take one of my classic bots, which is actually a good middle to advanced level bot that I've created, and then show you what it's going to look like after we use this conversion tool. Walk you through that step by step. So stick around because this is both exciting and a much needed video to watch by some of us early chatbot adopters, and there are some limitations that you really need to be aware of. But first, here's my intro video. So this is the Microsoft Learning document that made the announcement of the new feature for going ahead and upgrading to the Power Virtual Agents Unified Authoring. And this is what the feature is. It's called cloning of an existing PVA classic bot. And major kudos to the product and the engineering team that made all of this happening, because the announcement of the new Power Virtual Agents Unified Authoring feature itself was great, but they did not forget the classic bots which are already there and existing by the early adopters. They did not forget about them. And so they went and created this migration tool. And this migration tool basically first goes ahead and clones your existing bot and then migrates it into the new modern design. And this is what that new feature and functionality is all about. Now I'll go ahead and revisit this page toward the end because there are some limitations I do want you to pay attention to. But first, now that you know what this is about, let's go and see this in action. So what I want to focus now is where do you actually find this tool that first goes ahead and clones your existing bot and then migrates it into the modern authoring bot. So first of all, I have already decided which environment I'm going to go ahead and take a classic bot and then migrate that over to the modern one. So that's the first thing you have to do, is decide which environment you want to go ahead and use this tool. After that, when you go and already by default, you should be selected on the home option anywhere. Go ahead and click on create a bot. When you click on create a bot, right over here on step number 1 of 2, this is where you want to go and look at the option where it says want to convert a classic bot to the new authoring canvas. That's the section that you want to go and pay attention to. So I'll go and say yes, I'm going to go and click on start here. And once I do that, a pop-up comes up and it says upgrade your classic bot. You can copy and convert an eligible classic bot from its home page. Choose the bot that you want to go and upgrade. So yes, I'm good. I'll go and click on go to chatbots. And then from here on, you got to go and pick which one of it is. Now, they've also made it easy for you to decide where I want to go and pick which of my existing classic bots. Because if you've got one of those classic bots in the bot type category, you will already see it as a classic bot. So that's the one I'm going to go and do, is I'm going to go ahead and select the test job application bot. And I'm over here and I can go and click on my topics, and in my topics I have 84 topics over here. Now this is one of the bots that I had created where all the topics was actually be able to go and get a scrap from a website. This website was actually a whole bunch of FAQs about the Power Platform, and therefore I've got 84 different topics. So if you go to each one of these topics, I'll just randomly select one of them. You will see that this is purely text. There is a trigger based on a very specific question. There is a very specific answer based on a message, and then it ends. So the topics are actually very simple. The interesting thing is that this is where there's a bunch of them. Some of them are on, some of them are off. I am testing now to see, hey, can it go ahead and import all of these into the new modern style, and how successfully it gets that done. Go ahead and now click on the overview, and on the overview, scroll down a little bit, and right over here under the new features in Power Virtual Agents, it gives you the option to go ahead and convert this bot. Keep in mind, it is not doing a per topic level conversion. It is going to go and convert the entire bot. So if your bot, like mine, has 84 topics, guess what? All 84 topics of those are going to be converted, all right? Keep that in mind. So here you go, all right? I'm going to go and click on convert this bot. So when I go and click on it now, remember, it is going to go ahead and copy and convert this bot. Very important thing. And I personally love it because your original classic bot still stays over there. Just in case if it's missed something, you can always go back to the classic one and refer to it, all right? So it actually goes ahead and does copy and convert this bot. So I'll leave the selection as is, which is by default the copy and convert this bot radio button. And now I'm going to go and click on create. and there you go. Now it says copying and converting your bot to the latest version. It's going and giving you this nice little GIF that is going on, and it is actually going through all the conversion process happening in the back end. Now, in our case, I have got 84 topics. Granted, each of the topics are just a few little items over there, so it shouldn't take a whole bunch of time. But how much time the conversion takes is completely dependent on the size and the content of your bot. So in this case, we're just going to wait till the whole thing finishes, and once it does, we'll do a side-by-side comparison. Awesome. So the copy and the migration is completed. It is telling me that your bot is ready, and now I'll click on the Go to Your Bot. And it opens up another tab, and another tab is going to make sure it goes to the exact same environment, and will go to the exact same bot. So over here now, the new bot is called as copy of test job application. So what I'm going to do is a side-by-side comparison. So I'm actually going to just take this tab off, and I'll go ahead and open that in the right, and on the left side, we'll actually keep the existing ones. So I'll go and click on the hamburger menu because this is the older bot that I have. So in the older bots, these are all the bots that I have, right? All the topics that are there. While on the right side now, if I click on the hamburger menu and I go to the chat bots, you will see this new one has just been created. It is called the copy of test bot application. Well, that's basically the name that we allowed it to keep. You could go ahead and change it. So as I go and click on it now, it is going ahead and taking us into the modern view of it. So if I go and now look at the topics, and I go and X out of this, you see that this is what the bot looked like before in the classic style, and this is now the new improved one. And as you can see, it is pretty robust. So on the left side, we had a total of 84, while on the right side, we've got a combination. There's 76 all there from the custom one, and then there is the 13. So it automatically went ahead and did all the filtering of those that should be the system ones, and then the custom ones that we went and pulled in as topics. Now, whichever ones that were on, they are also statuses left on, while some of them were turned off, they are left turned off. So what I'm trying to point over here is that the migration actually is pretty good, pretty seamless, even though you've got a high number or high volume of topics just like mine. But what I want to do is just take a look at a few of these topics, all right? So I want to make sure that I do a really good side-by-side comparison. So on the left side, we've got what add-ons are available. So let's do a search on the right for this. I'm just going to search for what add-ons, and there you go. Both of them were on by default. On the left side in the old design, it shows you what the triggers are. On the right side, it's actually got to click on it. Not a problem. So let's go and click on the left side on the topic. Let's go and click on the right side of the topic. And as you can see, instantly you are able to go and see the difference, all right? The triggers are there right over here on the left, or on the right side, you've got the modern design of how you can go ahead and build the flow of the bot. Beautiful things right off the bat. Even on the left side, you can basically see all of these tools. They're still there on the old design, while on the new design, the new tools come out. But the important thing is that the trigger that we had over here was what add-ons are available. Well, if I click on the right, you see that the trigger is also available over here. So we didn't lose anything. The content came through. But let's keep looking at it, okay? And the message on the left, it was a pretty big message, all right? Because it went and did all the scrapping on that. If I click on this, the message came through. In fact, the rich text came through as well. You see how the bullet points are still there. The bold text is still there. Truly a really good migration tool. And then if I go ahead and now scroll down, you see that the end of the bot is there. This is the end. Obviously, each of those cards look a little different. But as you can see that the migration of the topics, just the simple rare migration, came through very well. We looked at it at an individual topic level. And on the, if you go back to the one more step, you can see that all the topics have come through. Granted, their categories have changed a little bit. Now, I want to switch gears and actually focus on quality, where we'll take a moderate level topic and then see how the conversion actually works. So let's go check that out. So for this scenario, I have picked another environment, and I'm going to click on the chatbots, and I'm looking for another classic chatbot. So again, on the bot type column, if you go and double click on it, you see all the classics that show up on the top. And for this one, I'm going to go and select something called as event sessions. It's already a classic. As you can see, the bot type is classic. And this is something I built over 10 months ago. So I'm going to go and click on event sessions. The bot is actually loading. If I go and click on topics, and over here, there are two really good topics. So the first one I want to show you is called Need Some Assistance. And if you go and take a look at the Need Some Assistance, these ones do not actually have any Power Automate flows available. It actually is pretty static. By static, I mean all the text and all the discussion directly happens inside the flow. But there is a lot of details going on, okay? As you see that there is some choices, there's some options. And then after that, it directly goes ahead and loops in from this condition. A lot going on over here, all right? So I'm really interested to see how this one is going to translate over into that new modern canvas design. All right, so this is the first one, the one which is the topic is called as needs some assistance. Second one, which is the topic called sessions. The important thing I am interested over here is that if you scroll down and you're taking a look at my bot over here, right over here, there is a section where we are going ahead and leveraging Power Automate flows. Now, in these classic ones, you know that when you go and use the Power Automate flows, we know we are going and sending in some variables. These are the variables that we're doing in the action. And then right over here, if I go and click on this View Flow Details hyperlink, if I click on it, another tab opens up and it directly takes me into Power Automate, takes me into the correct environment, down to the actual flow to see the details of it. This is the level of integration that I have in my classic bot. I am interested to see, does the new modern one also have this level of integration and these level of links? Do they migrate that over? So that's the second thing. All right, so here we go back to my topics, and in that section I'm going to go to overview. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I'm going to say convert this bot. Now remember, it is going to convert the entire bot, not just individual topics level, which means both of those topics we just looked at, both of them should convert. So I'm going to click on convert this bot, and it's going to ask me, hey, do you want to go ahead and do this sessions? I'm going to go and say copy of event sessions live demo. So I'll do that, and I'll go and click on create. And now the conversion process has started. It does the whole thing, so we just have to wait for a while. And there you go. The bot's migration has been successful. So we'll go ahead and click on go to your bot. And now another tab opens up. And when I go to the chatbots, you will see that now there's a copy of the event sessions live demo, right? So that this is now the whole new one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this one. And once I come over here, I'll close that off. We'll go to topics. And if we do a side-by-side comparison again with the new versus the old one, we'll go and move this guy over to the right. So that's the old one. This is the new one. As you can see that on the left side, we've got the new one. And on the right side, we've got the old one. On the topics, we've actually got two of them open. See, they're turned on. It's actually important to see that. All of these other topics are off, but only two of them, the sessions and the need some assistance, those are the two topics whose status is on. Now, they're on completely different sorting factors. These ones sorted in the old way, the old ones sorted in a certain way, while these ones, the new ones sorted in a certain way. Existing one shows 16, while the custom one on the left side shows 8 and 13. Some of the numbers seem a little off, but rest assured, the content has been migrated over. And also the two flows, which is need some assistance and need some sessions, this is the new one, they have successfully migrated over and they are also on. So let's start with the easy one, all right? The first one, which was need some assistance. That's the one which was still only text, but just a big one. So if I go and click on it, on the right side, I'll actually go and center it so you can actually start seeing of all the data is coming in. I'll go and make it a little bit smaller. That way you can actually see all that is happening, all right? So this is the one which is on the classic side. Same thing for need some assistance. I'll go and click on it, and I'll go ahead and shrink that down a little bit so you can actually see how that is looking. Going ahead and shrinking it down. So you see that now from the right side versus the left side, they are coming in nicely. Now, on the right side, which is the classic one, when the loop was done, this loop directly started at the last piece over here. At the last section, right after this condition, it goes ahead and loops. So from here, it is looping, and as you can see, this line is just going, and that line is going, and it loops up to the question. In this case, on the modern side, I am very interested to see, hey, how does that loop work? So I'm going to scroll all the way down because it has to show us on the loop side, and there you go. This is where the loop is. So I'm going to scroll down on the right side. See that condition? That's the condition. That's the condition. But over here, it doesn't loop up anymore. It takes you directly back into this condition. As you can see over here, you can see that that little squiggly line, that shows that there was actually a loop going back. If you've seen any of my videos of this modern one, I've emphasized on this, and I'll put those links in the description below, by the way. But the beauty is, in the classic one, to do this loop, it was a little bit to struggle with, right? Because if you have big flows like that, to loop it from one bottom area and to go all the way up to the top, well, it was a bit challenging. Well, on the left side, it was not that much. On the modern side, it's not that challenging. But I always had this little doubt in my mind is that, hey, is this migration going to be good enough to even solve that problem? And guess what it did? It took this entire loop feature, which in my case was one of the toughest things, and it did a direct migration without any problems, all right? And the overall flows is the exact same thing. No changing, no tweaking. The entire flow came through just the same way side by side. So this is the first topic that I want to talk about. The second one has Power Automate in it. So let's go take a look at that one. So on the left side on the topics, I'm going to click on the drop down, and the one I'm looking for is sessions. This is again the migrated one. On the old one, I actually have to click outside and I go and click on sessions over here. All right. So now on the right side is the classic one. On the left side one is the modern one after the migration. So if I move to the right, you can see that on the the triggers have come in just fine. The messages have come in. Obviously on the left it is modern, so you've got a little bit more flexibility. But as I scroll down on the right, actually start with the right. As I scroll down, I want to find the one which actually has the Power Automate flow. So this is the one. There's a Power Automate inputs. It's on the left, so as I'll go down over here, if I scroll down, there you go, you actually see the Power Automate inputs. And you see how good the migration is, that any of the text, like for some reason, I had Power Automate inputs 1, that was actually the text for the action. That text came through just fine. Obviously on the modern, it looks a little nicer, a lot more cleaner, helps you to actually build much more complex type of flows. So I like the overall look and feel, but the ultimate question is, did this action connect to the flow successfully? So I'm going to now go and click on this flow details, because you saw me click on that flow details on the right. It takes me to the correct place. In fact, I'll just show you. Click on it and now the tab opens up, directly takes me to the correct environment and the correct flow. Over here, when I go and click on it, a tab opens up. It does take me to the correct environment and it does take me to the correct flow. Everything, right down to the connection of the flow, all the owners and everything, all works successfully. The migration doesn't lose any connections whatsoever, and it gives you the overall new modern features that come along with it. You really have not lost anything. All of these, even to my medium to complex type of topics and all the logic inside, directly came with it. And as you know, now that it is in the modern one, you also have the capability to start leveraging Copilot to go ahead and edit and improve your chatbot topics altogether. So those test scenarios were awesome. I took a simple one, I took a fairly complex one, and it migrated successfully. But there are a few limitations that Microsoft has brought to our attention. So at least I want to take a look at them together. First of all, the cloning process will be only available in the same language from source bot in the classic to the target bot, which means that if you went in and selected one language in your original classic bot to build it, when you go ahead and migrate it over to the new modern one, that language is going to pull through. It's not that you can select another language for the new modern bot in the migration. It just doesn't do that. The cloning process will only clone topics built using the PVA web canvas, not topics using the bot composer. The bot composer was actually the original developer type of ones. It will only go and pull all of these using the canvas one, which is basically the low code type of going and building it, the user interface one over there. Also, anytime you go ahead and build a new bot, it goes ahead and puts a different identification to that bot. And so keeping that in mind, these 2 points are important. Because basically what they are saying is that wider consideration should be given to your entire architecture, and any impact within that architecture should be updated since the updating of your bot and its new bot ID. Same thing for the second one too, is that any automated deployment pipelines that you might have created, well, you'll have to go ahead and adjust that because the IDs change. When you go ahead and create a new bot, the new bot in the same environment, it is going to have a different identification. That way, there is no cloning that happens between the classic and the modern one after the migration. So its ID values will change. So keep that in mind, all right? That's one change that happens. So if you've done any customizations, as this bullet point is talking about, well, go ahead and tweak it and change the ID of the new modern one. And then same thing, if you're going ahead and done any deployments of the pipelines, go ahead and do that. Same thing for the reporting views as well. These are some important points that Microsoft has brought to our attention, and I want to make sure you are aware of those as well. So I get it that the entire migration is not perfect. There are some limitations that we need to be aware of. But overall, this caught me by surprise because I really did not think that this type of cloning and migration option will just be available anytime in the near future. But I'm so glad that the product group actually paid attention to the classic ones as well, specifically earlier adopters like you and me, so that we can have something that can start going ahead and taking our classic bots into the modern ones and then start excelling them, start improving them. So I highly encourage you to start testing it and then slowly start leveraging and migrating some of your classic bots into these new modern ones, because once you're in the modern bot into the new authoring canvas, you can start excelling it and using all of these other fields and functionalities that come along with it. So hopefully this video was useful to you, and as always, keep using Power Virtual Agents. Hello, hello, hello. So if you like this video, go ahead and click on that subscribe button and smash that like button. Also, if you have a few extra seconds, can you go ahead and put in a comment? Either say something nice or give me ideas for my next video. And until then, see ya.